लिरिक्स खुद ब खुद आ जाएंगे।
Off-campus cast physically capable of acting normal for more than 5 minutes. Because every time I think I've seen their funniest moment, another interview, live stream, or behind-the-scenes clip appears and somehow the chaos gets even worse. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. Most casts become friends after working together for a while. But the off-campus cast feels different. Half the time it looks like they're filming a TV show, and the other half it looks like a group of best friends accidentally wandered onto a set and decided to stay there. The jokes never stop, the teasing never ends, and somehow every conversation turns into complete chaos within seconds. The crazy thing is that none of it feels forced. You know how some casts look friendly during interviews because they're supposed to promote the show? With off-campus, it feels like they would be acting exactly the same even if no cameras were around. That's probably why fans are so obsessed with every little interaction. It doesn't feel like publicity. It feels like we're watching genuine friendships happen in real time. And honestly, I think that's one of the biggest reasons why Season 2 has so much hype surrounding it right now. Sure, everyone is excited about the story. Everyone wants to see their favorite characters return. But let's be honest for a second. A huge part of the excitement comes from wanting to see this cast together again. Because whenever they're in the same room, something ridiculous is guaranteed to happen. One thing I've noticed is that the cast seems to have developed their own secret language at this point. They have so many inside jokes that sometimes it feels like we're only understanding half of the conversation. Somebody says one random word and suddenly 3 other cast members are laughing so hard they can't breathe, and somehow that makes everything even funnier. You can tell these aren't jokes they prepared beforehand. These are the kinds of jokes that develop when people spend a huge amount of time together. The more behind-the-scenes content we get, the more obvious it becomes that these friendships continue long after filming ends. That's why fans pay attention to every interaction. If 2 cast members appear together, people start talking. If someone posts a photo, people start analyzing it. If 2 actors tease each other during an interview, social media immediately starts ma. Honestly, the off-campus fandom deserves its own detective agency at this point. And speaking of cast dynamics, can we talk about how impossible it is to choose the funniest friendship in this group? Every time I think I've figured it out, another duo steals the spotlight. One week it's 2 cast members constantly roasting each other. The next week somebody accidentally says something ridiculous and suddenly the entire cast is laughing for 10 straight minutes. Then another interview comes out and somehow everybody has a new favorite friendship. It's honestly a never-ending cycle. But that's exactly what makes this cast so entertaining. Nobody is trying to be the center of attention. Nobody is forcing jokes. Nobody is competing to be the funniest person in the room. Instead, everyone just naturally bounces off each other's energy. And that's a very rare thing to find. The best example is how quickly even normal conversations completely fall apart. A simple question turns into a debate. A debate turns into teasing. The teasing turns into laughter. And before you know it, nobody even remembers what the original question was. Honestly, I feel bad for interviewers sometimes. Imagine preparing thoughtful questions about Season 2 only to watch the cast spend the next 10 minutes making fun of each other instead. Actually, no. I don't feel bad. Because those are usually the best interviews. The funniest part is that the cast seems completely aware of their reputation now. At first, it looked like the chaos happened by accident. Now it almost feels like they've accepted their destiny. The moment they sit down together, everyone already knows something ridiculous is about to happen. And fans absolutely love it. What makes this even better is how comfortable everyone seems around each other. There isn't that awkward energy you sometimes see in newer casts. Everything feels relaxed. Everything feels natural. And because of that, fans get to see genuine reactions instead of carefully rehearsed answers. That's why some of the most memorable off-campus moments aren't even related to the show itself. They're just random conversations. Random jokes. Random arguments. Random moments that somehow become legendary inside the fandom. Honestly, some of those moments have become just as iconic as scenes from the actual series. And if Season 2 promotion is anything like what we've already seen, I think we're about to get even more chaos then. The cast is more comfortable now. The friendships are stronger. The fan base is bigger. And that combination can only lead to one thing. Absolute disaster. The fun kind of disaster, obviously. Because if there's one thing we've learned from this cast, it's that whenever they get together, normal behavior immediately leaves the room. And trust me, we're only getting started. You know what's funny, guys? The more content we get from the off-campus cast, the more convinced I become that filming Season 2 was probably one giant distraction from actually getting work done. Seriously. Every behind-the-scenes story somehow turns into another example of the cast making each other laugh when they're supposed to be focusing. And honestly, I don't know how the production team managed to keep everything on schedule. Because if I were working with this group, I would be laughing way too much to get anything done. One of my favorite things about the cast is how competitive they are over the most random things imaginable. It doesn't matter if they're talking about sports, music, movies, food, or completely made-up scenarios. Somehow somebody always turns it into a competition. And the best part? Nobody ever wants to lose. A simple question can instantly become a full argument. Not a serious argument, obviously. The kind of argument friends have when they're having way too much fun. You know the type. The conversation starts normally. Someone disagrees. Another person jumps in. Suddenly everybody is shouting over each other while laughing. And 5 minutes later they're somehow debating something completely unrelated. I swear this cast could turn a discussion about breakfast into a dramatic courtroom trial. That's the energy we're dealing with here. What makes it even better is how fast they react to each other. Some casts have one funny person who carries every interview. With off-campus, it feels like everybody is trying to out-chaos everyone else. The second somebody says something ridiculous, another cast member immediately builds on the joke. Then somebody else adds another layer. And before you know it, the conversation has become completely impossible to follow. Somehow it's still hilarious. Honestly, I think that's why fans keep rewatching their interviews. Half the jokes are so random that you miss them the first time. Then you watch again and suddenly notice another cast member quietly laughing in the background.